So what's going on, guys? It's your boy Nistro here. Euros was this past weekend, and it was a very large event that had a lot of shocking twists to it. We saw Sky Striker almost make it to Worlds. A lot of Vanquish Soul, actually. Vanquish Soul ended up being the deck to beat at this event. Honestly, watching some of the duels on this stream, it made YuGiOh look like the brickiest deck I've ever seen. I have not seen a deck brick this much on stream other than YuGiOh, which is kind of hilarious because what happened to Joshua Schmidt was like the exact opposite of what I'm saying. But for the most part, in a lot of duels that we saw in Top Cut, it just felt like YuGiOh was not performing as well. And it was really Vanquish Soul that was taking names. And it got all the way to the last match where we had a Vanquish Soul mirror match. The games can be fun to watch if it's not a mirror match, but when it is a mirror match, it's like, depending on how technical it can get, sometimes the games can slog on a little bit. But with that being said, I didn't want to commentate the first two matches because I felt like both of them were kind of won after a certain point. What I really wanted to highlight was this game 3, simply because of how much power Vanquish Soul Hollie gave one player over the other.
Let's rock!
Roselle got game 1, Lorenzo got game 2, which was kind of funny because I thought Roselle was going to take that second game, but she ended up losing that one. You see Roselle going first, right? She opened Rosin, so she normal summons out the Rosin, right, in main phase, and it gets hit with an Ash Blossom, which is fine. Like, by itself, you know, you just go Rock of the Vanquisher, and then Rock can bring back the Rosin, and then you can special summon Rosin during the opponent's turn, and then you can just play off of like a Hollie or something. But Roselle has a Pot of Prosperity. She's going to banish not just 3 but 6 cards to attempt to keep playing, which cuts her out really only of the Borger draw, but that's not the biggest deal. If she's able to set up everything, she won't need the Borger draw. So Prosperity resolves since the Ash is done. All right, we see Droll, Mad Love, Phantasme, another Mad Love, Stake Your Soul, and a Rhoda. She's most likely going to grab the Stake Your Soul. Yeah, you already used your normal summon, so everything else there, it would kind of be redundant. I guess Mad Love wouldn't be terrible, but if he had Droll. But now she goes Stake Your Soul, revealing a Borger in hand, and then special summoning out the Mad Love. Now Mad Love's going to activate to search a Vanquish Soul spell or trap card. Now from this position, it looks like Roselle's fine, because Roselle activates the Vanquish Soul start, targeting the Rosin. And now, or no, she doesn't target yet. She just activates the card first, and Lorenzo responds with the Hollie suit. And this is where things start to get a little bit dangerous, because seemingly Roselle has no interruption or no way to interact with this Hollie suit in her hand, right? She has like a Phantasme and a Borger and one other thing. So we know it's not Ash Blossom. So now Lorenzo's going to reveal with the Hollie suit to get to, I believe it's going to be a Rosin here. Yeah. So now Rosin on summon's going to activate. Still no response from Roselle. Lorenzo gets to search the Caesar Valius. Now, there's two things to keep in mind here, right? So because Rosin's in the same zone as the Mad Love, it's in the same column, Rosin now gets to threaten the Mad Love, which means off of Hollie, Lorenzo now has put up an interruption, not just a searcher and a starter, but also an interruption in the same line. Now that being said, Rosin cannot search and activate its effect in the same chain. So what Roselle could have done is she could have bounced back her Mad Love and then summoned out Borger in a different column so that Mad Love was not being threatened by the Rosin. I don't think she cares about Mad Love enough to do that. So now Lorenzo's going to activate the Caesar Valius to bounce back the Hollie suit. And Roselle has no response for that. Now, Caesar Valius has all 3 attributes in hand, Earth, Dark, and Fire, to be able to pop any card on the field. The issue with this is Valius is non-targeting. So It doesn't matter how Roselle interacts with this. Either way, she's losing a card that could be something significant. If Valius pops the, let's say, Rosin, then Roselle cannot go into Jiaolong. If Valius pops the Vanquish Soul start, then Roselle not only cannot access another Vanquish Soul with its effect, but she also cannot set the Vanquish Soul Snow Devil from deck during her end phase. So now she's extra stuck because Valius not targeting basically it gives Lorenzo full control over what she can do with her field. Because either way, that starts getting popped. Because if she would have just, or if Lorenzo could have just targeted the start, then he probably just would have done that anyway. It's still a very tough situation for Roselle here because she has Phantasme, she has Borger, and she has one more thing that's probably not useful at the moment. And Lorenzo has already revealed a Bestial. So if that Mad Love hits the graveyard, it's not coming back. Rock of the Vanquisher is not going to bring back that Mad Love or that Borg for that matter. If Borger gets sent to graveyard, it's not coming back. So whichever one Lorenzo decides to pop, he has complete control over this matchup. If we rewind a little bit, a single Hollie Sue put Roselle in a situation where her opponent got a head start before their turn. They're still going to draw a card come next draw phase, but they got every good Vanquish Soul is in rotation for them. Besides Mad Love, every good Vanquish Soul is in, besides Mad Love and Borger. But they have enough of a core here to go like, okay, Rosin, we can't see the fire that he revealed. I'm going to assume that it's another Rosin because that's what it looks like. And even then, if that's the case, that's even worse. That means he gets to turn start normal summon Rosin. He gets to grab another Vanquish Soul. He gets to either go for Jiaolong or, so he has multiple ways, right, with both Hollie Sue and with potentially another Rosin in hand to get back into more combos. And then if Valius is sent to graveyard, even if Roselle gets rid of the Valius, Lorenzo can just go Bestial, Magnuma, summon, end phase, add back the Valius. So it's actually really strong. Lorenzo has a really strong setup right here, and there's very little that Roselle can do to interact with this. She couldn't get a Hollie Sue of her own because Rosin was negated. Mad Love couldn't get into it. Stake Your Soul couldn't get into it. So because she couldn't access her Hollie Sue, she's at a big disadvantage here. So now she Borgers for her Mad Love. Lorenzo says that's fine. He doesn't have to trigger the Rosin. On res, Valius destroys the Vanquish Soul start. Now, because she resolved Prosperity, she cannot Borger draw. And this is where she kind of makes a little bit of a misplay because she thinks for a bit here. And then she sends two, which is I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And she goes for the Hida. I'm like, okay, that can somewhat set back Lorenzo if she goes maybe for Promethean Princess and then hits with the Hida. I mean, that can be really significant. Oh wait, Lorenzo does have Borger in rotation. So Lorenzo has a Bestial, Borger, and Hollie Sue, and he draws a card. Oh my god. Okay, so now she grabs the Ash Blossom here. Now this would have been, I say again, this would have been Promethean Princess right here, but she looks at her extra deck and she slowly realizes what she banished off the top 6. So she just passes turn here, which is crazy. She's kind of smirking a bit. She kind of realizes that she messed up a bit, but just think about how much advantage Lorenzo was able to get. He was able to get a starter, 2 pops, and a draw off of a single Hollie Sue. Now he has a starter, Bestial, multiple lines of play, multiple ways to play to break down Roselle's board, and all he really has to do is just clear a Hida and an Ash Blossom to go for game, or not even to go for game. Borger can do that last 1500, so he doesn't even have to go for game this battle phase. Oh, he did have another Rosin, which is crazy, but yeah. So now he goes for the Valius. Valius reveal all 3. And then Hollie Sue's going to steal the Hida. And yeah. That's how the game was won. And this is only a taste of what Vanquish Soul can do post Justice Hunters, because it's going to get even worse. It's going to get to the point where even if you hand trap them during their turn, if they open a single K9 card, if they can make Jialong plus Hollie Sue, they don't even need to play 7 attack in. They don't even need to open it. They can go into their K9 rank 5. Rank 5 can search one of the bodies, and then the bodies can just keep extending into the other K9 Exceed. So, or into Paradise Smasher even. So it's very difficult to go first against this deck because of Hollie Sue, and it's also difficult to go second against this deck in the future because of K9. So I just wanted to emphasize how strong of a card Hollie Sue is and how it single-handedly won this championship. Yes, Caesar Valius not targeting, kind of broken. Yes, Roselle not planning ahead with the extra deck banishes, that did kind of cost this game too, but because I don't even think Promethean Princess would have saved her, if we're being real. Like, if she was able to go Promethean Princess, bring back Rosin, what would that have even done? I think the best thing she could have done here, realizing that she banished Promethean Princess, was probably going to something like SP and then banish the Borger or something. But that would have been like the best thing she could have done, because he already used his Valius, so it's not like Borger would have been able to bounce back to hand. Possibly could have saved her from death. I couldn't tell you why she didn't go for SP here. That's the biggest mystery, I think, out of all of this. That's really all I had to say about this match. So this guy Lorenzo faced against Sky Striker about 2 rounds before this, and it got all the way to game 3. It's like when you have a deck that's like really good into time, really good into playing second, really good into playing first, it's like, why play any other deck than this? Why even bother with Mitsu Raziel? It's kind of up in the air how strong Yummy and K9 are going to be post Justice Hunters and pre-ban list, because Mitsu, Raziel, and Malice are still going to be full power. So let me know what you guys think about Vanquish Soul, the future of YuGiOh post Justice Hunters, in the comment section below. This has been your boy Nistro, signing out.